So, hands up who forgot to press record. And me and Matt have been chatting for 20 minutes already. That's me. Hi, everybody. Ross and I hope you're safe and well. New channel, please subscribe. Yeah, sponsor, Untuck It. Great. Anyway, me and Matt, hope you're well, everybody. Me and Matt had a lovely chat about school homeschooling for 20 minutes. And then I realised I hadn't pressed record. But that's okay because we haven't got onto the West Ham part stuff. So it's okay. That's why we won't go over the old ground, Matt.
No, that's fine.
West Ham are doing well. Great.
Yeah, well, as I was saying, I think it's just been one of them that I think the squad, you can see the change in the mentality, everything they've just sort of gone under the radar. They've been going about their business. The players have been performing well. Everyone knows their roles and responsibilities that they need to do in the team. Obviously, they've been having some fantastic results, and they've just slowly sort of gone under the radar. Just kept on performing, kept on getting the results, and then everyone suddenly turned around and gone, hold on a minute, they're in the top four. And then they've been like, oh yeah, they've been playing well actually. Yeah, they've been doing well. And whereas David Moyes and the whole squad have just been slowly tapping away, making sure that they've stopped conceding goals, which was a big thing. They were conceding a lot of goals, and it makes it so hard to then come back. You're relying on scoring more goals than the other team, and Antonio's been fantastic, absolutely fantastic. He leads that line, occupies the two centre halves, or if it's three, he occupies three. He's that much of a handful that he's done a sensational job, and then they've been clever in the way that they've been playing. Bowen's been outstanding as well. I like watching him, his work rate, and I think the rest of them have just everyone started to gel, and that's ultimately that is why they are where they are, because of the work ethic and the desire to work for each other, and they've had that quality in the final third.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think, and also it's nice to, as you said, I mean, obviously we've had the transfer window and stuff like that, and where in recent years, to be honest, where we've been scrabbling around for players to keep us up, a bit like sort of, what Big Sam's doing at West Brom, it seemed, a bit of a scattergun, get as many bodies as we can. We haven't had to do that this time, so it's. I know there's been a bit sort of, we didn't sign a forward, a striker, or whatever. But someone like Lingard, I think he's going to be a master stroke, and it's nice. It's a weird position to be in, really, not looking down.
Yeah, I was speaking to, I can't remember who I was speaking to now, about everyone was saying about West Ham. Why didn't they sign a centre forward? Haven't done this, and I just think they've been sensible about it. Over the past however many years that. Always trying to sign a striker. You sign someone, you're desperate for a striker. Everyone knows that. So you pay over the odds. You're paying them good money. Obviously got good money for Haller, so had to let him go. It didn't quite work for him. And then you're in a position that everyone knows you're after a forward. So I think they've been sensible in the fact that I'm sure they were trying to sign a striker. There was no doubt they were trying to, but if it wasn't right, they didn't sign him. Whereas I think in the past they probably would have done it. And I think now they can realise that their squad's very strong. They've added, like you said, Lingard. That's a good signing. Dawson been a great signing as well. And you're sort of building that team now. You're adding one or two players, not 4 or 5. Yeah, I think you're adding the right players, the right mentality for the squad. And it is looking good. It's you've got to just sort of ride the wave of being a West Ham.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's looking good. You just got to hope that injuries. Everyone hopes everyone stays fit. But at the minute, when everyone's playing well, the whole squad's in a good feeling. I think hopefully it will just continue to go under the radar a little bit. That's what I think has helped. And I hate to sort of say it as well, but I think, especially at the start of the season, I think having no fans there with the pressure of everything has probably helped.
Possibly,
in a sense. I think now, obviously, it'll be great. Everyone be back there because they're in such a high position and confidence. I think it'll push them on even more. But I think to start with, I think it's benefited.
Definitely. And that's a good point, because obviously we had that sort of nightmare run and everyone was saying, we're not going to get a point until November or something like that. And probably, I think you're right actually, in terms of it, that no fans probably helped them initially, because I think we played rubbish against the Newcastle in the first game, and then it sort of like kicked on from there. But as you said, it's it's just weird, isn't it? And it's like it's like obviously we played Liverpool the other day, and there was like, oh, so I said we're going to smash Liverpool, and we're like, they're still like one of the best teams in the league, and we're, I think, a little bit, maybe we're slightly higher than we should be at the moment, in terms of, and so yeah, so I think people are like, come back to reality a little bit, and yeah, now we'll see what happens. As Moisey said, he wants us to dream, and why not? What else are we going to do?
Well, I think like yeah, I think obviously is every game against Liverpool is tough, but you show what a good side they are, or West Ham are. It wasn't a demolition like other teams have done. I think it just shows what a good squad that Moyes has got together now, and everyone's pushing in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly, and hopefully a good cup run. That's all we want.
That would be nice.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? The cup run with no bugger in the stadium way at the final.
I know.
Typical West Ham, isn't it?
It just sums it up, doesn't it, at the moment? You just think, that can't happen. It can't happen. You can't get to a final or something and then there'll be no fans. That's not right, is it?
No, it's not right. But it's okay, as Whitney Houston would say. God, that was a random song reference, popped in my head. Anyway, so obviously everyone knows Matty. Matt joined back in 2012, 2013, when my daughter was born, as we were talking before. Her due day was the playoff final day.
That must have been
that one. I had a really good ticket, like front row of but where Vastay scored, and so I was at the game, and but yeah, and then 2 days she came along 2 days later, and then there's a picture of her in the playoff trophy, because I knew they were going to do it down Romford. So anyway, so obviously you signed being what was the time a record signing. It was led to be about 10.75 million or something like that, which was crazy at that time. What we like to do is, when we talk to fans and players, we like to find out sort of joining West Ham, whether it's a fan or as a player. So that sort of summer, joining West Ham, how did that transfer take place? What was sort of can you remember sort of how it all fell into place? Because it was
yeah. Well, obviously I sort of knew that there was the interest in signing me if they got promoted.
Sure. Okay.
So obviously I sort of straight away was, a West Ham fan in the playoffs, like, come on, making sure that they got promoted. And then after that, it was just sort of trying to sort of see what could happen. Obviously there was a few bids that got rejected by Wolves. And it's sort of, I started the season at Wolves. I played a few games. So it was sort of coming down to the wire, really. And I think, I basically got told that that they were going to put in one last bid. And so it was sort of a case that, I wanted to join. Obviously loved my time at Wolves, but I wanted to play for West Ham and play back in the Premier League. So it was a case of, seeing and hoping that the Wolves would accept the bid, and in the end they did, and they got, yes, it was a lot of money, and that was obviously came with its pressures, but at the time it's nothing to do with, I can't help any of that, and I'm delighted that West Ham were able to get it over the line, and I was straight in.
Yeah, and is it sort of, as you said, you probably don't necessarily think about it all the time when you're playing, but having, same as any, whether it's £10 million, £5 million, as a player, do you know, oh God, they spent this much money on me? Is that sort of a thing, or?
I think for me, everyone knows how big West Ham is, but then when you sign and you're in central, you're in London, you're signed for club record signing, you see billboards going up, you've got all the press that surrounds it, you're at a big club, and you can feel the, not tension, but the excitement, or the everything that comes with it. And for me, it was definitely like wow, this is a huge club, they've spent a lot of money on me, I need to go out and perform. That is definitely something that, for me, personally, yes, it was something you can feel straight away.
Of course. I mean, I said it was a it was a really exciting time, obviously, because we've been promoted and we were sort of going to establish ourselves in the Premier League under Big Sam, and obviously he'd come in and done the job and got us up, albeit via the playoffs, but we still got up. What was it like going into that team? Because it must have been buzzing in terms of atmosphere as a unit from going up the previous season.
Yeah, it was great. It was a really good squad. Really good squad. You had the older players, the more experienced players, a few of the youngsters as well. And I just remember, when I actually signed, I got taken down to the training ground, and then they were actually having a team meeting. So where the training ground is, if you've ever been, back in that training ground, it's all the port cabins. So they showed me put me into the direction where the port cabins was, and they knocked on a door, and obviously they're having a team meeting. So I was all waiting outside, and the next thing you see is the door open, and you see get through it, and then Big Sam walks out, and he's huge.
He is big, isn't he? Yeah.
I never sort of met him that close. So he come out the door, this small door, he just popped out, and he was huge, and he was like, "All done?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Brilliant, right?" And then he was sort of back into his meeting. It was like, "Right, okay." It was a great change room. There's some really, really good guys in there that have been around, that have done it. Played at the top level, and it certainly made me feel welcome straight away.
Definitely. And I mean, that season for a promoted club, finishing 10th that season. Yeah, I mean that's perfect. That's exactly what you want for a first season, don't you? Really.
I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. You look at any club that's been promoted to finish, fourth bottom. Yeah. But to finish 10th was fantastic, and we thoroughly deserved it as well.
Yeah, and as you said, you had a real good mix. Obviously you had your Kevin Nolan's, obviously current coach at West Ham, so it's all sort of all comes back in full circle. Obviously you had guys obviously you had Ginge, and you had Tompkins and Reedy. You had some really good players, and even Joe was there, wasn't he? For a time.
It was after that, but
just after. Yeah, it was. It's one of those things where that season, I think, and actually, obviously, I think you played 30 odd games that season. Next season, you played about 30 odd games. I mean, I think you made 90 first team appearances across your time at West Ham, which ain't shabby. It ain't shabby, Matt, is it?
No, it was. I mean, I sort of, in some sense, hit the ground running in the sense that the way that the manager wanted us to play, my role in that was, get the ball wide, get crosses in the box, and that season that I put the most crosses in Europe, and then also put the most successful crosses in Europe. So it wasn't me just whipping the balls in. It was the most successful crosses. So it was, for the way we were playing, it was a huge success.
Yeah, it was, and I mean, you look at the team around. Obviously, you did have your Nolans, and you did have Andy Carroll's there as well, and Madiba Maiga. God, forget about Madiba Maiga. And so you had some good target men as well to whip these balls into. And Colton, I can't believe I forgot Colton.
Can't forget Colton.
He's never going to go on the fucking channel now if I keep forgetting him. But I mean, as you said, and there's something I think, and that's why I quite like the current team now. I see Bo in a very similar position, so when he just gets it simple and plays it down the wing and crosses it. Football can be such a simple game, I think. If you get down the wing, cross it in, it's not hard, is it, really, football, it seems.
I think that's what Sam was good at. He broke it down, simplify it, and that's what the team, everyone knew their role in the team. Everyone knew what they had to do and where they had to be, where the ball was in a certain situation. So like you're saying with Bowen, he gets the ball, he gets the team up the pitch. And if he gets the opportunity to take someone and put a cross in, he does it. And that is what the way that sort of we played at the time.
Yeah, definitely. And as you said, we did it very successfully. It was 10th and 13th those first two seasons, which again sort of helps. It's a part of West Ham sort of history where this is sort of the consolidation into the Premier League. And so the first season was exciting, and then obviously the second season was a consolidation. And I mean, in that second, you know, when I think of you, Matt, or I think of the first thing that comes to my head, and you probably think no already, is that Tottenham game, because you know, because you scored against Tottenham, that's it. I mean, you score 4 goals, you know, one of them's against Tottenham, so straight away you're in a small group, and you know, coming back, losing, you know, 1-0 down, I think Adebayor score, I think, or something like that, and then obviously you got the equaliser, and we won the game, you know, quarterfinals. As a player, do you realise how much West Ham fans hate Tottenham?
Yes, yeah. I think it's one of them things when you sign, it's sort of drilled into you.
Really,
you know that this is the big one.
Yeah.
And as you said, I'm absolutely delighted that I was able to. That game was just incredible. I think the atmosphere, like the away fans in that whole area where we were scoring, was just incredible. And to put, you know, as you say, we went 1-0 down, but then to turn it around in the fashion, you know, it was chucking it down. It was, and then you know, spanked one in the top corner, and then Maiga scored, and everyone was just going crazy. And as you say, what a game, what a game to score in. It was fantastic memories.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's there's some certain things, and it's like it's always Tottenham, but it's because obviously we did it, this year, didn't we? We were 3-0 down and drew 3-3, and it's always Tottenham and Man United that seems to be the 2 teams that it always happens against. So hopefully it'll happen against us in the cup. And I mean, you know, across that, obviously, those first 2 seasons were sort of your strongest seasons. Where obviously then there was injuries and stuff like that. So if we concentrate those first two seasons, you know, obviously Kevin Nolan was the skipper, very much so, club captain. What was he like as a captain? Because I've heard firsthand from some people about what he was like as a captain, but from your experience having Kev as a captain, what was he like, Matt?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I can't speak more highly of Kev. He was sensational from when I come in. You know, he would be one of them guys that it's got nothing to do with him, but if it was going to benefit the team, he would take it on. Anyone would go to him saying something about something, and he would just take control, go and see the manager or do whatever, get it all sorted. He was a superb captain, a leader on the pitch, led by example on the pitch. He scored sensational goals, important goals. Would work his socks off on that role where he was. He had to be a striker, he had to be a midfielder, he had to do, and he was just a real leader, and obviously was great for the squad, organising stuff for us a lot as well. So that was that always helps.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, and obviously it seems that a lot of his Nolanisms have now been imparted into the West Ham current team. So, the way he just used to stand on the toes of the goalkeeper at corners, now it's Antonio's job. And obviously he's a little bit, a little bit harder to push over than maybe Kevin Nolan is, bless him. But and I think also the effect of Nolan as a captain, when you see someone like the way Mark's conducted himself as a captain, there's definitely it's rubbed off on him, because again, what you were saying in terms of how he reacted, when he's all about the players, Mark's exactly the same by all accounts as well. And it's lovely to hear how great a captain is. I think people underestimate that, definitely.
Yeah, captains have a huge responsibility. They can make or break a change room, to be honest. They really can, and as you said, Kev was fantastic, and Nobes just he was already like a captain anyway, Nobes.
Sure.
But to obviously learn from Kev, and then to take on the responsibility like he did, and he's West Ham through and through. So he's always about the team, always about the club, and he, as you mentioned, he does stand up for what he believes in, and if it's if it's not the seen the correct way, it doesn't matter. It's he's standing up for what he believes in as a player and as the club.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, Mr. Allardyce, he tended to get a bit of stick from West Ham fans and stuff like that. But as a manager, I mean, I always quite liked Big Sam. I'll be honest. I was quite glad we turned. We lost. We beat him when West Brom came down. But as a manager, he's one of those bastard managers. Do you know what I mean? He's like, he's a manager. He's a bastard when he's not your manager. But when he's your manager, he's the way he winds up people and stuff. What was he like day to day as a manager, man?
I think everyone remembers that. What's it, Chico?
Oh yeah,
this one. That's the one. Yeah, there's so many clips of that come up. Yeah, like you said, I think everyone has that opinion of it's horrible football. It's not that. Well, everyone was absolutely buzzing when we were 10th, 13th, 12th in the first 3 seasons. Yes, some games weren't pretty, but you got results. You won games. He knew the way that he wanted to play. He had his system. He had statistics of where the ball should be, how you should score goals, where you should score goals from. Everything was revolved around that. He was clever in the sense that he was. I would say he was more of an old school manager, but he was very much on the new wave of technology, statistics. Everything was broken down. He was very good at. So, for instance, in pre-season, you would sit down and break the season up into like 8 games. So you would work out where in each section how many points you think or how much you need to get to finish. In our first season, to finish 10th, that was our sort of goal, really. So you needed this many wins, this many draws, this many losses, this many goals, this many conceded. He went broke it down into that sort of stage. So if you finished in the first, I think we'd finished you wanted 8 points in our first 8 games, or 7 or 8 points in our first 8 games. I think we got 14 or something like that. So you're blowing that one, but then you sort of move that to the side. You do a review of them 8 games, and you move on to the next one. And then if you were trying to get 10 and you got 8, you'd be like, right, we wanted 10. But because of the previous one, we got 14 when we thought we were going to get 8 or whatever. You sort of try and. So if you're going on a bad run, most teams do, we went on a couple of bad runs. If it's in one of the sections, you try and put it to the side. Right,
that makes sense.
We're on the next bit, and he did that side of the game very well.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. It's very similar to from working my budget for the company. It's the same. It's like Q1, Q2. Oh, we've done it. Okay, we've got carryovers. That's good. But I think with Big Sam, I think he's always, as you said, when he was 10th, we didn't really moan. When we got promoted, we didn't really moan that much. I know people, nowadays, I don't care, what he does, to be honest. But I thought he was. I remember one game we played Burnley. I can't remember what season it was, but it was in the Allardyce years. And obviously, Burnley fans hate him because he managed the Bolton, Blackburn manager. And Burnley's that horrible. I hate grounds like that. We have to cross the pitch to get to the dugout. Do you know what I mean? So he has to cross the pitch, and everyone had gone, and Big Sam was about 20 yards behind everyone, and he just walks out into the centre, and everyone's booing him, and he's like, I was like, do you know, fair play. I love people. It's a bit of entertainment, isn't it? He was a bit like a pantomime villain, and that's why I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Oh, and good news, West Ham are 2-0 up. There we go.
That is good. That is very good.
Jussi Lingard has scored on his debut.
Really? Well, there you go. What better start?
We were just saying before what a great signing Jussi Lingard was. There we go.
Oh, you heard it first, didn't you? We heard it here first.
Heard it here first. Although this will probably go out 2 days. This will probably go out on Saturday, so it's going to be doesn't matter. Right, let's move on to the Hammers 11, Matt. So obviously everyone we have on the channel, bar Harry Redknapp, Nigel Reo-Coker, and Ian Bishop. Don't ask me why. The 3 of them didn't do an 11, but everyone we've had on picks an 11. So from the fans, it's the players they've been around to see that have been, seen live. So it's not all, obviously if I put my dream 11, I'd probably have Bobby Moore in, but obviously clearly I wasn't old enough to see him play. So for the players we do from the players you played with, and I know you've had trouble with this. This.
I've been messaging you saying I'm really struggling with this for a while.
But the way people get away with it, Matty, is they say honourable mentions.
Yeah.
So they go, oh, he's this person's left back, but let's not forget. There we go. You've said everyone. That's how people get away with it. It's a bit of fun. Okay. So we'll start off in goal. Okay. Probably the easiest one, I'd say.
Yeah. For me, it was Yossi Jaaskelainen.
Yeah, Yossi Jaaskelainen.
Yeah. He was fantastic. Ultimate professional. fantastic pro. Worked so hard on the training pitch, then went off and dedicated, and then went in the gym and looked after himself. Really a good guy, really good guy, and was great for us. Absolutely great for us.
Always quite untidy. He always had his shirt out, didn't he? And he was quite skinny, but he's always a big shirt. But no, I don't mind that. No, but he's like, he's one of those players. I think that's him as a goalkeeper. Tends to get sort of left out in the wash a little bit, because it's sort of like the Robert Green era, and then you have maybe Fabianski, and that sort of period in the middle. We had some good goalkeepers, and I think Yossi was. Well, obviously, Bolton man, one of Allardyce's generals, so to speak, and he was just really solid for us. I thought really solid.
Very solid. I think you don't get to play in the Premier League for as long as he did.
Good point.
And not be a steady Eddie goalkeeper. He was very, very good. And as I said, it was great because he was older. I can't remember his what age, but he was the ultimate pro. He was always working in the gym, working on the training pitch, and he was a good guy as well. Very good guy.
Good. All right. Okay, we'll put Yossi in. Yossi. I didn't have to type it out, thank God. I'd already had it in the thing. I was like, last thing I do is type that one out.
That's good, because I wouldn't have known how to spell it. That's for sure.
Is it two A's? Oh God, yeah. That's one of the good old club shop, isn't it? On the letters, 10p a letter. Right. Yeah. Okay, let's put Yossi in. Are we going to play 4 at the back? You play whatever formation you want.
I know. This is the trouble that I've had, because I keep thinking of players' names and I go, oh yeah, but then I can't. Then I'm gonna have to change formation and do that. But I think what I'm going to just do is I'm just going to go 4 at the back.
Yeah.
And I'll start, which is unorthodox, but I'm going to go my 2 centre halves.
Go for it.
And that is Ginge and Reedy.
Yeah.
To say, I'll start with Ginge. He was just everything that you'd want as a defender. He would throw his head at anything. He would block everything. He would, put his body on the line. Obviously score goal, great ping on him, but he would defend like a defender should defend. I think he did everything that you'd want as a defender, and brilliant and a fantastic guy as well. But as a player, that's who I would want in the trenches with me. Sure. He would do everything for you.
Yeah, and as you said, I mean, he obviously came in that period at the same time as you, really. So he came at the beginning of August, didn't he? He came back. Completely different player than the player he left. So, in my opinion, he came back as a more West Ham player, as you said, would throw his body on the line, skinhead. He didn't have much of a beard then. But as you said, he was just the type of defender you want on your team, just because heart on the sleeve and just
exactly. Yeah, and then Reedy was like incredible. I don't think you at that point in time, no one could get near him.
Not them. Yeah,
there were so many clubs that were after him. He was immense. You couldn't get round him. Like in training, I couldn't. Any time I get near him, he'd just like arm, body, just get the ball off you. And he was great with his feet. He worked on his left foot because he always played on the left of the centre halves, and he worked on it, and he was just a man mountain, and terrific player. Gutted really for him that the last couple of years he's had the injuries, because he was that good. He was very good. I was definitely him.
Well, hopefully, obviously he's gone on loan at Brentford, isn't he now? So great. I think it's a great shout for him, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think he when he first signed for us in sort of just after the World Cup, he was obviously went down that season firstly, but secondly, he wasn't really hit the ground running. I think the Championship made him. It really made him, and so he's going sort of now. He's almost going full circle. Towards the end of his career, hopefully the Championship will give him that final, good bit of English football. But good old Reedy, and obviously, he scored against Tottenham once as well. So there we go. So he's in the club. He's in the club. Right, who's next? Who's going to be next, mate?
I'm going to go. This is because I played with him a lot. I think we also went through a spell where we were both not playing, and we were basically the two of us training all the time together. But I just thought we as a partnership worked really well, and that's Joey O'Brien.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever the fans' opinion, but he was he was fantastic. When he played left back, obviously he was right footed, but the way we used to link up, and he used to chop back to his right, curl the ball into it. We just had an understanding. He would, again, throw his body on the line, worked hard at his game, would look after himself. Good guy. And that's why I would. But obviously, Cress came later, and I wasn't playing as much.
No, yeah.
So obviously, he's an outstanding.
Oh, I mean, he's rejuvenated at the moment, isn't he? The way he's playing.
He's been absolutely class. His delivery, his left foot is fantastic. So if I would have played more with him, then I'm sure he would have been in. But I'm going on people that I've played sort of week in, week out with. So
and it's good. It's good for Job to get a shout out. He's still playing at Shamrock Rovers, I think. But
yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I spoke to him not too long ago. So he's still going for it.
Oh, good man. Right, okay. We'll put Job on the left then. Who's going to go right back then, Matty?
Difficult one. This one for me. I'm going with. Well, it's because I had Guy Demel was there for majority of my time there.
Yeah.
And then Tonks as well, but it's a difficult one because I would probably put Tonks in, but he's not really a right back, so he would be a better right back for me. But I can't see me not putting Tonks in.
Yeah,
I think.
I think he did a great job for us at right back. He said he filled in quite well, to be honest.
I think for him it was centre half, but that's why I was struggling with formation. You see, because I could have played three.
Could have done Moisey.
I mean, that would have been perfect, them three. But I can't fit everyone else in the team. You see, so,
dear.
Right. So I'm going with Tonks.
Okay, put Tonks in.
He was class. Similar, slightly younger than me, but sort of came through the youth. You could see him develop it into the player that he was and is now. Really nice guy, and like I think there was just a West Ham way of defending. I think he was again no nonsense.
Yeah,
that style of defending, which is huge. There's everyone's after this centre half. That's ball playing centre half. You get it down, someone takes it off him, they go and score. Them three were perfect at the art of defending. So
yeah. I get that, and that's as I said. I think there's something still in that. You know what I mean? As you said, as we spoke about Craig Dawson, obviously he's very much is an old school, and there has been comparisons. Don't shoot me down of him and Ginge in terms of how they play. They play as as you said, body on the line, sort of old school British defender. And I think you need that. You definitely need that, particularly the way we play. You just want a scrapper. You need a scrapper. Okay, well, there's your back four. There's your keeper. Right, we're almost halfway. Right, let's go into midfield then. Go on, you go for the midfield as you want to.
Yeah, so I'm trying to look at my phone to see who I've written down now. I'm going to go with Yossi Benayoun.
Yes.
What a player.
Yes.
I don't think anyone can come close to him with the jinx and the chops and the little tricks. He was just incredible. And I got to know him really well because we shared a lift in together. So what a guy.
Where were you living at the time then, Matt? Where were you living?
We were based in Surrey at the time. So,
wow.
So we had quite a decent journey in together. So it was I spent a lot of time with him. He was such a guy, such a gentleman, such a really good guy. But as a player, I don't think you can come more exciting and just fans off your feet. You would go to shoot, chop. Someone would he was like that in training. The amount of people that used to just go close to him and he just chop, see it, chop, going to the keeper, they dive, dink it over them. He was phenomenal. And again, you don't get to play at the levels that he's played at for many, many years. Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, West Ham. It's phenomenal. So yeah, Yossi Benayoun.
I think he's the first player to score a hat trick in the Champions League, the Premier League, the FA Cup and the League Cup, I believe. Obviously not all West Ham.
No, not
all West Ham. But he was top man. Right. And who was it? I think it might have been Jack said that he liked to have a bit of, because he looked like a bag of bones, Yossi did, to be honest. But he liked to put a bit of a he liked a little challenge in training. Jack was saying he liked to put his foot in. So
get his elbows around.
yeah, fair play to him. Right, okay, we'll put Yossi in. And I used to work with a guy called Yossi, so that's always right. Let's go. Who's next, man? Who's next?
This is where it gets difficult because I'm not really going for actual positions. I think in midfield, I think we could be very attack minded.
Nice.
And I know it's probably a bit controversial, but I'm going to go with Payet, Dimitri Payet.
Yes.
Outstanding player. What he did that season at West Ham was incredible. His delivery from set pieces, his goal scoring from set pieces, his crosses, the way that he just moved around on the pitch, everyone was off their seat. Everyone was excited on what he was doing, and he was in the best form of his life. Obviously, whatever happened after that, but he makes the team because he was outstanding that year.
Yeah. He was a phenomenal player, wasn't he? He's one of those players where I think they don't come around very often, do they really? And yeah, I mean, just outstanding. Sometimes you've got to sit there and just look at it. And I'd imagine in training, he's just picking these things all the time. You're like, fucking hell.
Yeah. Yeah. It was hard because he came, Lanzini was there, and they were both like magicians. And you're like, how are you going to play with all of these players in the same team?
Yeah,
it was crazy, but yeah, Payet, I think he gets the nod.
Yeah. Good shout. I think you just got to give it to the man. He's one of those players that I think he ends up. I think it's like 40% of the people we've interviewed have put Payet in, like fans and obviously players if they're around the time. And everyone prefaces like, "You're going to hate me, but I'm going to put Dimitri Payet in." So, well, clearly he's but the man and the footballer are very different people. All right, I can see there's going to be a lot of flair in this team. So we've got Benayoun, we've got Payet. Who's going to be next then, Matt?
See, this is where it gets really difficult for me. I'm putting this player in. I'm not going to say he was. I don't know. I'm just going to Joe Cole. Yeah, I played with him. He wasn't maybe in his prime.
No,
when I played with him, but his enthusiasm, his technique, everything about him was just amazing as a footballer.
Sure.
Obviously, the history of West Ham when he started out, everything, he was the best young player ever to be seen. And he's had an absolutely incredible career. And then to play with him as well, still at West Ham, and he still performed. He was still at a great level. And even though sometimes he took me out of the team because he was playing in front of me, but he was outstanding. And in some ways, you sort of like, for me, I'd look at him and be like, that's just amazing. Like his desire to still be flying around in training, he'd still want. Every time he got the ball, he was a bit like Yossi.
Yeah,
get the ball, you couldn't get off him.
I can imagine.
Taking players on, loved scoring goals. So any sort of little five-a-side, you just want him on your team because he would just get the ball, take everyone on and score. It was outstanding.
And what's it like when, no disrespect, but when a player comes in and takes your position? So say a guy comes in, so like, and you're like, oh my God, this guy's going to be he's blatantly sort of going to be taking my position. As a player, you're like, fuck, or you're like, right, okay.
I think you have both, don't you? I
can imagine, yeah. Some people are like, fuck it, I'm going, but I can imagine some people are like, and it's like, I mean, as you said, I ask stupid questions because it's like, I've never been in that position really where someone hasn't, it's not like in a job, you don't tend to get someone who comes they don't tend to get your replacement before you've left.
No.
You know what I mean? Whereas football, it's very different.
You sink or swim, don't you? You either go, nah, it's not for me, I want to go, or you go, right, okay, we'll battle it out, and best player wins.
Yeah, great shout.
Yeah, it's that's the way I sort of looked. I've never ever decided that it's not for me. I would fight every tooth and nail to get in the team. And you have to, when you get the opportunity, you have to take it, and that's the whole thing of the game, isn't it? So But he, as a player and as a person, but that's what I mean. The whole squad, the personalities were incredible. That's what made our team. That's what made us. I think that whether other teams were struggling, we had the team morale, the whole squad was just all incredible, and that's what pushed us right up the league as well.
That's what you need, though, isn't it? Particularly as a new team coming into the league. That's why I feel sorry for. I do feel sorry for, like, West Brom fans and Fulham fans probably as well, because they'd have missed the whole season of Premier League football because they're fans, because they got promoted and have got relegated possibly before their fans have come back in. And you need that togetherness, particularly now more than ever. But as you said, a newly promoted team, you need that, all those personalities, just to, everyone can dig in a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It's and as you said, it's not you were show a bit of quality in the squad anyway. So okay, so fucking hell, Payet, Benayoun, Joe Cole. You'd be first on match of the day. That's the sure, Matt. Not necessarily.
This is why I had to go very solid at the back.
Yeah, I can see why. Right, who's going to be next, man?
See, now I'm going to go, because I'm going to go Kev Nolan. I'm not sure on the formation we're going here yet, but I'm definitely going with Kev. Obviously, two parts to it. Outstanding player, always in the right position at the right time. Great goal scorer, but done, like you saying about the corners, he did the ugly things that people that don't see, the nitty gritty little finer details that just maybe 1-2% that would just get a player to move there, get a player to stop doing that, and it would help the team. He did all of that, the horrible things of stamping on people's toes and gripping people from corners and throw-ins, and the amount of time that the ball just fell to him in the box was fantastic. And the thing is, unfortunately, what you don't see is we actually work on them things, like the set pieces. When someone goes up for the header, where everyone else, and he used to always be that player that the ball went up, for instance, if it was Andy, and he'd win the flick on, Kev would be pinning his centre half, holding him up, and the ball would just get into him, hold it up, and he would score or set someone else. It wasn't just fluke. He worked on it, and he was outstanding at it. And then as a captain, he was a true leader, like we've spoken about before.
Definitely, yes, definitely. It'd have to be in that team, I think, just to put a foot in, put a challenge in that midfield, man. Right, okay, who's going to be up front then? Who's your first striker?
Well, I think I don't know whether he might be my only striker. I might, depending on my next player. I'm still undecided on my last player.
It's like transfer window day. I'm gonna get Jim. I'll get Jim White on him. Yeah.
I'm going with Andy. He was just like a battering ram. And in the way that we played, he was vital for it. As a wide player myself, getting to the byline, looking up and just seeing him in the box was incredible. I think my first season, I said about the amount of crosses, I think he won the most headers from a cross in Europe. I mean, it was like the perfect combination. Sure. Obviously, injuries and whatever, but he was just such an outlet for everyone. He gets a lot of stick, but his feet were great. In games, he was able to control the ball, put the ball down. Maybe not so much in training, but in games, he was able to just turn it on, and he was so good at it. And you looked, and he would always be saying, just hang it up, because you knew people would come and he would just clean them out. He could jump. He was an absolute unit and would just put his body through people and win headers. And he had that almost like that slap head where the ball and just goes and it just zings off his head. He had incredible timing. We linked up really well together, and sort of the style of play that we played, he was perfect for it. So he's my centre forward.
Definitely. As you said, see, when you got a target man like that, as you said, and we talk about, the fact, a bit like Antonio, how he always commands 2 or 3 defenders, and he always did. And that's why I just loved watching him play, because he always did. And it never really, obviously injuries and stuff never really, kicked into gear as much as I think he could have done. Particularly when we signed like Chicharito, you thought him and Andy Carroll would have been like the next Cotty McAvenny, but it just never worked. It was so frustrating. Happens more often than not with West Ham players. Right, okay. So the big man's in, Big A's in.
Yeah.
One more position.
Yeah, I know. See, I'm torn because obviously, how can you not put Nobes in your team? And especially with the other players that I've got on my team. But yeah, I've got so many other. I could have said Lanzini. I could have put Stuart Downing in. Alex Song for that spell.
Yes,
was incredible.
Amazing. He was the first player. He's the only player I remember. I mean, I've been in West Ham for 20 years now at the stadium, and I remember when we signed him, Stringer. Remember Paul Stringer? So Stringer came up as he walked in, he went, "Russ, don't tell anyone. We signed Alex Song. Right, we're going to announce it on the pitch pre-match." I was like, "Wow, that's really cool." Because it was like, and he, as you said, that period he was fantastic for us.
Incredible. Like I think he was man of the match his first game, and for the next, I don't know, 2 months, he was outstanding.
Yeah,
outstanding. Dipped a little bit after that, but he had everything. He was brilliant. So, but I'm sort of struggling. So I think with everything, I think I'll probably have to go with a little bit of formation tweak, and I'm going to chuck in Nobes pure. There's, I mean, what's not been said about Nobes? He's outstanding. He was brilliant in training. Always wanted the ball. Always was one of the better players in training. Was fantastic on the pitch. Led by example. Great delivery, set pieces, everything about it. Obviously penalties. There isn't many people that are better than him. And loved the club. Loves the club.
Yeah. And that's something I think quite unusual in modern football is to play for the club you support. In even more being the only team you've played for, really, and being the captain and playing by the fight. It's a very, very unusual thing in modern football now. And yeah, he's just and he's a fan, and that's and I knew that, but then I remember watching. I think when we played Chelsea last season, and Yarmolenko scored the like last minute winner, and he was in the squad. He was sitting in the disabled area, really, because it's already 2 meters apart with all the chairs, and he was watching it like a fan. Rather than a teammate. You can see he was kicking every ball and shouting at the ref, and it was like, oh my God, this is like, I should be filming this. This is incredible. But yeah, he's top man. He's a top man. And so are you, Mr. Jarvis, because
I think he might have to have his work cut out with that attacking. The rest of it, he'll be holding with.
But what we'll do is we'll do Mark Noble at that period of time, not Mark now, bless him. I don't think there's a bit too much running for him, bless him. He's a 15-minute man, 15, 20 minutes in the Premier League and tying it all up. But yeah, his work will be cut out. But listen, man, thank you so much. Thank you so much for chatting. It's been great. We finally did it. We finally got it sorted. Albeit we did spend 10 minutes chatting before I recorded, but doesn't matter because it was just,
They were my best bits when everyone said they were my best bits.
Yeah, it was like the bloopers. It's like the reverse of the bloopers. It was like the best, is like the highlights, the match of the day highlights. But anyway, cheers, mate. A really, really, really great chatting to you. And obviously, thank you to everyone for listening as well, or watching on YouTube or Spotify, whatever. Whatever you do, give it a like, give it a share. From myself and from Mr. Jarvis, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Come on, you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Much love. Bye-bye.